Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This is kind of a fun one. It's going to be my first reading vlog and it's going to be for Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day if you are watching it on the 14th. And I thought to do something a little bit different. Instead of reading romance, I'm going to read some domestic thrillers in the name of love, or the lack of. I've got 5 with me here, pretty big ones. I guess I got a little ambitious, but they all seemed like stuff that would be really interesting to me, so I wanted to give them a go. First and smallest is Comfort Me with Apples by Valentine. This is one about a wife who's perfect for her husband and is living the perfect suburban life, or is she? My next one is called Alice's Island by Danielle Sanchez Arevalo. This one is about Alice, whose husband passes away in a car accident, but he's 60 miles away from where he said he would be, and Alice's journey to figure out what secrets he's been hiding. And I'm really excited about this one. It's kind of a big one, but I really like the premise. I think it's really going to be a good one. Next, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This will be my first Alice Feeney. It's about a couple who takes a weekend getaway to the Scottish Highlands in hopes of either making or breaking their marriage. And of course, both of them have secrets that they're hiding and alternative plans for the weekend. Next on my list, You're Invited by Amanda J. Tissa. This one is about a girl's ex-best friend and ex-boyfriend getting married and her being invited to the wedding. Talk about a scandal. I'm excited for this one. Finally on my list, I have a Liane Moriarty. It's called Apples Never Fall. This is about a couple that has been married for a long time. They're supposed to be perfect partners, in a perfect world, as they all are. And the wife goes missing. The first Liane Moriarty I read, I did not like, 9 Perfect Strangers, so I'm interested to see if this will have a different outcome for me. So all in all, we've got a couple that has yet to be married, and we have 4 couples that already are married, 1 that has already lost their partner, and questionable about the rest. I'm really excited. This is going to be my first reading vlog, so I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you like or didn't like, or maybe what you would like to see in the future. It's a little more complicated filming a vlog versus a review where I just sit down and talk about things, but I'm really excited to give it a shot and hopefully give you guys something fun to watch. If you've read any good domestic thrillers, let me know. And let me know if you plan on reading any of these after you see my reviews of them. All right, happy Valentine's Day and enjoy the video.
Amy's parents could read their children's games with perfect accuracy. They could predict their every shot, exploit their every weakness, but in other ways they were clueless, blinded by their love of the greatest sport ever invented.
So I'm about 25% into Apples Never Fall by Liane Moriarty. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's a pretty big book. It's almost 500 pages. I've read 9 Perfect Strangers by her, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I listened to it on audio. It actually was a long audiobook, so I'm sure that one was big too. But this one focuses on our cast of about 6 main characters, Stan and Joy, who are married, and their 4 kids, Amy, Logan, Troy, and Brooke. I'm about 100 pages in, and the story starts out a little suspicious to start. We get a little bit of insight into Stan and Joy's marriage, a little bit of personality for their kids. It has 2 timelines, now and last September. Stan and Joy have been married forever. They're tennis champions. They owned a successful tennis clinic, and all of their kids played tennis growing up. But now all their kids are adults and they're reaching high 60s, low 70s. They're kind of lonely. just a different stage in their life. They've just sold their business, they're retired, they're trying to figure out and kind of navigate this point in their life. It's actually interesting so far. I like the writing, I like the descriptions. They're definitely building up some suspense and kind of leaving you in the dark. Like, you can build your own ideas about things, but not entirely sure what's going on. Very early on in the book, Joy goes missing. And she's been missing for over a week before anybody reports that. Her husband does not. 2 of her kids end up reporting her missing. And it's just looking very suspicious. Like, she didn't pack any bags. She left her cell phone. She sent her text she sent her kids a strange text message saying that she's going off the grid, and nobody's heard from her. And they're all worried because they think they're gonna suspect their father, Stan, as being the reason why she's missing. And obviously something, or maybe over the course of time, their relationship with their parents is just not good. And I just think there are things that have happened that maybe traumatize the kids, or they know wasn't right, but they're not sharing with us, the audience, yet, which I'm sure I'll find out the more I read. But I'm liking it so far, and I'll let you know the more I keep reading. Hey again. I have read about another 100 pages of Apples Never Fall, and I just wanted to pop in for a quick update. So I didn't mention before that an interesting new point to this story is with the last September flashbacks. One night, a girl who's injured, a strange girl or a stranger to Stan and Joy, show up on their doorstep and say, she says that she's hurt, her boyfriend hurt her, she has nobody, she's just moved to the area, she doesn't know anybody, and she has nowhere to go, she doesn't have her wallet, she doesn't have her phone, and they decide to take her in. And we are starting to learn a little bit more about the dynamic between the 3 of them, and their own kids are learning about the situation, and they've just met her. Savannah is her name. But they're really enjoying having her there because they feel kind of empty nest syndrome, and Joy almost feels like it's another chance to show love and care for someone and give her attention. And it's kind of sparking that feeling of being wanted and needed. And she hasn't felt that for a while, but they just all met. They had a lunch for Father's Day, and oh my gosh, the tea was spilt. Every single one of these kids is having something going on in their life, some kind of personal crisis, and they've just let it all out. It started with Stan talking about each kid and their tennis career and how they've crashed and burned and whatever their flaw is. And then each kid just starts dropping bombs about something crazy going on in their personal life that would be kind of a disappointment to their parents. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil it, but if I was Savannah, oh my god, I would feel so uncomfortable. Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm actually really liking this. It's interesting learning about the dynamics between each character, sibling to sibling and child to parent. I wouldn't say that I like all the characters. Amy, one of the kids, is kind of the main person that I like. The 2 boys are all right. I will say Leanne Moriarty does a good job of individualizing all of these characters, especially with 9 Perfect Strangers. That's one thing I'll give to her. She had a lot of main characters in that one too, and she made everyone feel like an individual. And with writing in this 3rd-person perspective, she does a good job of separating everybody's thought process and writing these small characteristics that make them feel like individual. It doesn't feel like I'm reading a description of the same person every single time. It switches over. So I do like that aspect. I don't like the characters all necessarily, but I'm interested about their lives and I'm interested to learn more about them, and to like further unravel this mystery. She's thrown in a small point of view with a detective standpoint, trying to figure out what happened to Joy, but that's not really the main focus right now. We're just kind of learning the intertwinings between characters, and I'm guessing these are going to add up to be some significant viewpoints leading up to Joy's disappearance. But yeah, still going well.
Over the hills and far from home, she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take it into her side. La 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 la.
Okay, so same spot, different day. The last time I talked to you guys, I was about halfway through, and they had just had this big Father's Day lunch where everything went to crap, and like, you know, it was really dramatic and extreme, and I loved it. But anyway, so as the story continues from the halfway point, we get to learn a little bit more about Savannah. A lot of Stan and Joy's children are very suspicious of her, and they're trying to figure out kind of like what her story actually is and why she's there, and they don't really trust her. But Stan and Joy don't really listen. Like, they're just happy to have someone to take care of and to actually help take care of them, because she helps like clean around the house, and she cooks them dinner, and she just brings life back into their lives. So everything crashes and burns when a secret is revealed, and like they cut ties with Savannah, and Stan and Joy's relationship has kind of come to a very, very low point, and they're arguing, there's just a lot of tension in the relationship, and then boom, Joy goes missing. So kind of for the rest of the story, it focuses on Joy's absence and how that affects some of the kids, and also tying into their own personal lives and the different things that they're going through. I think that aspect is actually the most interesting to me, the family dynamic and each of these people as individuals versus the story of Joy and Stan, and you know what actually happened to Joy. Amy is my favorite. I love Amy in here. She's a great character. I was always excited when she came on page. And then along with that, we also follow the viewpoint of the detective and kind of the things that she's finding out. And that's how we learn more about their relationship with Savannah and their relationship with each other and their children, is through like these interviews. And, you know, we have our conclusion at the end. We find out what really happened. And I would say the ending is like satisfying in that it fulfills kind of the journey of each character. I enjoyed it. I mean, compared to 9 Perfect Strangers, this is a completely different book. I think a lot of research went into this, and I just enjoyed the plot itself a lot more. I enjoyed the characters. I will say I feel like this was a lot more clever in its delivery. A lot of the like secrets and surprise moments and the way things unraveled, I would not have guessed, and it kept me going, huh. And I enjoyed the reveals when they happened. It wasn't like, you know, you're waiting for something to finally conclude, and then once you get to the end of the book, it's just disappointing. I felt like they were thought out, they were well crafted, and it was clever. And I really enjoy a clever book. I enjoy a book that can make me think, keep me on my toes, and keep me interested. I would definitely recommend this over 9 Perfect Strangers, and I think it's a good way to start this vlog. So I'll see you guys in the next book.
I had hoped that it was all in my head, that I'd put them on some sort of pedestal because I'd missed them so much. That I had been looking at my past through glasses that were so rose-tinted that everything was just fluorescent pink at this point. But with Kavi, it was the opposite. In our time apart, I'd withered away to less, and she'd blossomed to be more. More than I was, and more that I could ever be.
Okay, so some time has passed since we last spoke. I've moved on to my next book called You're Invited by Amanda Giatissa. This one focuses on our main character, Amaya, and she's been invited to the wedding of her former best friend, who's marrying her ex-boyfriend, and her name is Kavi. I'm about 100 pages in so far, and it's all right. Amaya is definitely a strange character. She seems a little unhinged. She's got a lot of like violent thoughts and self-harm tendencies. And we keep getting these vague recollections of like, oh, she did something really bad. Well, she's done multiple bad things years and years ago. She's flown back home. She's from LA, but she's come back to Sri Lanka to be a guest at this wedding, essentially. And the book starts out like right away. She's like in a hotel room, I think the day of the wedding, and she's like got some blood on her and some bruises on her knuckles. She's like washing dried blood away. She's done something bad, but we don't know what. And then we find out that Kavi, the bride, has gone missing. And so we learn a little bit about Amaya's past within the last couple of years, and then we're getting flash forwards to like days and months leading up to the wedding. And she has this plan in place for the wedding. We don't know what it is, but it's not good, whatever she has planned. And she's starting to, like, she's just met Kavi again, and then she's gone to their family home, and she is not welcome. Apparently she did something 5 years ago that has set everybody on edge, and she was supposed to never ever come back. But Kavi invited her, so she's back. And that's about as far as I've gotten so far. I will keep you posted. Okay, so I was actually gonna wait until I had only about 100 pages left or so to update you guys again. But I'm about 2/3 of the way through now, and I'm not really sure how I'm feeling. So, like I said earlier, most of this story revolves around like the month before the wedding and then several days leading up to the wedding. And along with going through the events that are planned in advance of the wedding, like the bridal shower and the welcome party and whatever, and with all the events leading up to the wedding and Amaya's interactions with Kavi and her family and some of the other guests, I'm just not really liking that we still have not had a reveal. We don't know why Amaya and Spencer broke up. We don't know why Amaya and Kavi's friendship ended. We don't know what she did 5 years ago, although there are allusions to what may have happened. And we don't know 100% what Amaya's plans are, other than they're not good. And I feel like Amaya is an unreliable narrator because the way she thinks and the way she reacts to situations are different to her interactions with these people that she has hurt or she believes have hurt her. And I just have a feeling like the final reveal is not going to be like grand, and it's not going to be super shocking. I hope I'm wrong. It's an entertaining read. Like I'm not hating it, but I just feel like all this suspense and tension is being built up. And I feel like there's not enough room in these last, 140 pages or so to help us understand what happened, help us understand the dynamic of these relationships, and give us some resolution to like the final conclusion. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I'm gonna keep reading, finish, and give you guys another update. So I just finished You're Invited, and I think I give it like a 3.5 out of 5. That last third of the book was pretty fast paced, pretty entertaining, and it was a relief to finally get the reveals and to finally have all these pieces connect. A lot of the viewpoints have been from Amaya or from interviews done at this hotel. And finally, in this last part of the book, we get Kavi's point of view, which to me made the book go from like here to here. It was like we finally got some clarity. I finally got a narrative that was fast-paced. It made sense. It was entertaining. She threw a lot into that little portion of the book. I almost wish that the book was mostly in Kavi's point of view. And I think the plot overall was not bad, but maybe could have been like rearranged a little bit. I think the ideas that she has in here are good, and the reveals that she has are good. I would not say that I enjoyed having to wait so long to actually get the reveals, but that last part of the book went by pretty quick, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I definitely expected some of the reveals, but the more detailed ones I did not expect. And I don't know, I feel like I don't fully understand Amaya's character. I feel like she was who she needed to be for the sake of whatever was going on in the book. I feel like I didn't get a clear understanding of who she was. And I got a more clear understanding of who Kavi was, even though her narrative was a very, very small portion of the book. All in all, it wasn't bad. I think it'd be like a easy, entertaining read. It's not something that I would like finish in one day. I also think it's kind of funny. On the cover, it says she'll wish she never RSVP'd, but in the book, she never actually RSVP'd. She just showed up. But I'm sure they just wrote that to be catchy. But yeah, it's, I'm glad I read it, and I'm ready to move on to the next.
It breaks my heart sometimes, the way you give these people all of your time and save none of yourself for me. I'm your wife. My stories are real. Does that make them not worth listening to?
Can you guess what my next read is based off of that? Probably not. It's Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I've just barely started it, but I'm liking it so far, and I'm feeling like chatting a little bit, so I figured I'd pop in. So this book centers around our married couple, Adam and Amelia. They've been married for a while. Their relationship is on the rocks. They definitely do not like each other. Their arguments are pretty sharp. They're very short-tempered with each other. Like I said, I've just started it, but I'm starting to get an idea of who they are as individuals and the issues they've been having in their marriage and kind of how things are starting to pan out. Now, they have won this trip to a weekend getaway in a chapel in Scotland that's been like renovated. It's like Airbnb-esque. It's actually described really beautifully. I kind of would like to stay there if it was a real place. But anyway, things are a little eerie. They end up making the trip from London to Scotland in the middle of the snowstorm. Adam already is not a fan of this idea, and they both are kind of like, is it really going to be worth it? They're hoping like this weekend away is going to make or break their marriage. And so far things are not off to a great start. And this place is very eerie. Also, they have a dog named Bob, which I just think is hilarious. I just love when animals have people names, especially a name like Bob. I actually have a gecko named Bob, but anyway. So yeah, things are just strange. You know, they show up and the doors are locked and there's dust over places, and it's in this like small town. The restaurant's been boarded up. You know, it's just a little sketchy. We're also getting this viewpoint, but we're getting like flashbacks, And I'm getting like a little bit Gone Girl-esque vibes because Amelia is writing letters to her husband each year on their anniversary, but she's not giving them to him. But I am guessing we're going to be reading all of these letters throughout the book. I'm not sure how many years exactly they've been married, but we read like the first one so far. And I don't know, it's just a lot of intrigue right now. I'm really curious. I'm enjoying the writing so far. I've never read an Alice Feeney before, but heard a lot of good things about her books, so I'm gonna keep reading. I will keep you guys updated along the way, and I'll talk to you soon. So I've not updated you guys since I was maybe a little more than halfway through. I think it was like in the 150s, but oh my gosh. This is a 5-star. This is a 10-star, okay? Alice Feeney is that chick. She had me going the whole time. You know, she was building up the suspense, building up the reveal, and it was all that and then some. She delivered, oh my God. Like, once I hit the last like 100 pages, I was just like this the whole time. Yeah, this was a masterpiece. This was so good. I really am not gonna say a whole lot more about like the actual plot because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't remember if in the last update I actually mentioned that there's a third point of view. I'm not gonna say anything about that. But yeah, she had me going until the very end and she just kept delivering. I loved this. This was so good. I just want to read all of her books now. She's so clever. She really weaves in all these little details and makes all these characters so unique. This was just chef's kiss. Like, this was so good. I'm so happy I read this. If you're only gonna read one book from this vlog, please read this one. This was great. I'm just, wow. Yeah, I am just like want to go to Barnes & Noble and buy myself a copy right now. This was so good. I'm so happy. This was awesome. Yeah, so we'll see if any of the other ones hold up to this. Probably not. But I'm still having a good time reading all these books for this blog. So I'll see you in the next one.
The music teacher sighs, a long exhale of sadness, but he seems satisfied. He begins to play, and for a moment Sophia fully and truly thinks she will die. The sound of it is a knife. If a knife could kiss, and the kiss could turn the color of morning. There is no sense to the song. It crashes and whispers and cajoles, and weeps and admonishes and commands all at once, without progression from one feeling to the next. Yet it contains a perfection that is twin to pain.
Hi again. I just finished Comfort Me with Apples by Valentine. I didn't do an intro to this book because it's so small. It's only 100 pages, which I didn't realize until I picked it up from the library. I was like, whoa. Also, it's $18. This is a very small book to be $18. But anyway, this book is about our main character, Sophia. She lives in the beautiful community of Arcadia Gardens, where everything is perfect. It's the safest place ever. It's beautiful, it's luscious, you don't have to worry, you can always be happy. And, you know, initially Sophia is tied up in all this bliss. She's got the perfect husband, she was made for him. Everything is perfect. You know, each day she does these different tasks. She cleans the house, she makes dinner, she goes on errands. But things start to feel a little more sinister, and this illusion of perfection gets burst pretty quickly, and we start to see things unravel in Sophia's life and in her marriage as she tries to seek out the truth. But part of her also fights against it because it feels like wrong to her core that anything could be wrong, anything could be less than perfect. She could be anything other than happy. The writing in here is very lyrical. It's very intentional. You know, the names in here are there for a specific reason. It's metaphorical. It It is technically a domestic thriller, but it has like some horror and some fantastical elements to it, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't mind it. I thought the ending was like dramatic. It was interesting. It's an easy read. It only took me like 30 minutes to get through this. Not a bad book. The cover is beautiful. It really is beautiful. I don't know why everyone in this vlog is obsessed with apples. The Leanne Moriarty was Apples Never Fall. This is Comfort Me with Apples. I don't think apples were mentioned in either of the other books, but yeah, not a bad read, but I'm ready to move on to the next.
I had to make a great effort to keep from being seduced by the beauty of the landscape. I wanted information and needed to maximize that first visit. I couldn't fall in love with the island. I had to skin it and tear out its guts.
So I thought I'd switch it up and give you guys a different viewpoint. Same day, different couch. I've started on Alice's Island by Danielle Sanchez Arevalo. I'm really liking it so far. I'm about 100 pages in. It is about our main character, Alice, whose husband has unexpectedly passed away in a car accident. But the kicker is he's in an area where he said he was not at all. He's like 60 miles in the opposite direction of where he said he would be. And Alice is very confused by this. Like, her husband regularly goes on work trips, and sometimes he's gone for a few days. He has his own business. He's a salesman. And so she starts to uncover, trying to figure out where he was and why he was there and what he could possibly be keeping from her. Because before he died, she loved her husband. They had a great relationship. They've known each other a long time. They have a daughter together, and she's actually pregnant with their second child when he dies. And so she very meticulously begins to uncover, or try to uncover, like what he might have been hiding from her. So she ends up working her way back from this site of the accident to where he might have been driving from, which is actually pretty impressive. She had to like haggle a lot to try to get security footage. So she slowly worked her way up to find the endpoint of where he ended up being, which is this island called Robin's Island. That is a pretty small place. I think they only have like 450 residents. And she actually ends up moving there, all under the radar, to try to figure out what's going on. And I'm really liking it so far. I really like Alice's character. I think she feels very authentic in the fact that she's trying to uncover what's going on. She's dealing with her grief. She's dealing with being a mom and a mom again, and being a single mom for the first time. And so I'm really liking it so far. The writing is enjoyable. I think he has great descriptions in here, and I'm just really enjoying it. So I'll keep you updated if anything exciting goes on. Hello again. I am about 2/3 of the way through with Alice's Island. I believe the book is split into 2 parts. I've just hit the part 3 marker, and I decided to take a little bit of a break. I'm still really enjoying it. I'm really liking Alice's character, and it's giving me some anxiety reading it because she's investigating all these different people on the island, and she's sneaking around, and she's trying to learn things without getting caught, and she's dealing with this like internal monologue, subconscious of like paranoia and anxiety and doubt, which I think is interesting, and it adds more to her character, as well as the stressors of dealing with her own grief, dealing with her 6-year-old's grief, and dealing with a newborn child. And we really haven't learned a whole lot of anything, but I'm like, it's not taking away from anything. I'm not really expecting this huge, big mystery. I just feel like the story is more about Alice and how this tragic event has changed her, and how the desire to know the big secret, or if any type of secret her husband was holding and for how long, is changing her as well. So in this, the book goes through certain time periods, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, and so far it's been about 7 months. It starts with her husband's day of passing and continues on through her moving to the island and different events like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and anything that happens on the island. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I'm not really sure where it's gonna end up, but I'm excited to be along for the ride. I will update you guys when I finish. You guys, I am not okay right now. This book wrecked me. I was legitimately crying. I feel like I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it. Wow, this book is 5 stars, 100%. This book, it just took my breath away. The ending is so beautiful and tragic and heartwarming and deep. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting this at all. I was almost coming to the conclusion that the book would end where we would really never find out Chris's secret, Alice's husband, but she would come and to accept that and just be happy with her new life on the island. No. Oh my gosh, we found out his secret and then some. I'm speechless. This has definitely got to be the best book I'm going to read all year. This has been so far. This was everything. It partly was a domestic thriller, but it also was a story about loss and love and overcoming tragedy and accepting change in your life and dealing with the consequences of your actions, good and bad. Oh my gosh. What a way to end this vlog. This book was just, it was more than I could have expected, more than I anticipated. It was not the best as far as domestic thrillers go, the best choice for that. But as a read and as a journey, oh my gosh, wow. This was everything. What a way to end the vlog. Wow. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming along this journey with me with my first vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it is gonna end up being on the longer side, so I'm sorry if that's not something that you like. But I'll be putting timestamps, so if you just want to check out my reaction to a certain book, you can. Please leave me any comments or recommendations for what you like or didn't like in the vlog, and maybe any themed vlogs that you would like to see in the future. And please let me know if you're going to read any of these, especially Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney and Alice's Island. You're Invited, Comfort Me with Apples, and Apples Never Fall were all still hits. I think all in all is a very successful video, and I'm really happy that I got to read all of these. But I'm going to be thinking about Alice's Island for a long time. That's definitely a book I'm going to want to reread. I've never heard of this author, Daniel Sanchez Arevalo, but I would definitely like to check out some of his other stuff. I think he does film as well. But wow, I just have this overwhelming feeling of joy and heartache and melancholy, and I just feel like I have everything going on. So I'm going to take a little bit of time, let those emotions settle, think about it a little bit more. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!